Well, I'm about to start singing "Welcome to Karaoke Live," but welcome to Perfect Pitch Training. Today we're going to continue using the app that we were using yesterday. See if how many I can identify correctly in a row. And this time, if we find that we have some trouble with some, we'll go back to the drawing board with the EO handy guitar here. What was I gonna say? So our goal is to learn strings on guitar by ear for the 6 open strings. Play a random string to test yourself, but I need Justin for that, and he might come on tomorrow night. A major third is when you go up 4 frets, and a minor third is when you go up 3 frets. You play them together and sing from the bottom up. The way you can meditate and listen to a tone is to hear a tone, imagine it, sing it. A reminder to myself to listen. And and then I just keep this up to show me the order of the guitar strings. And so we're gonna go back to the app, or not the app, it's a website. It doesn't exactly give you open strings, but you can get pretty close. It took me forever yesterday to find it. Speaking of that, let's set an alarm for an hour. Set an alarm for 1 hour. Okay, there we go. 12:27. I don't know why I have this accent, by the way. Just had to come. There we are. Okay. It's called falsetto.app/guitar-perfect-pitch-trainer. Okay, so, and then you set it to 0, set the max fret to 0 to kind of get the, basically the open strings, or what's really close to them. And that's just my friend letting me know that she got home safely. So, okay, let's start with the app. So yesterday we didn't get 18 out of 18. We only got like 16 out of 18 at the most. So today we're gonna, try to go farther than 18 out of 18, but let's really go for it. Glad to know you're back home safe. Okay, there we go. Now that reminds me to put on Do Not Disturb so that, those kind of things don't disturb me. All right, let's go. Let's see what the first one's going to be. Let me turn this volume up. Okay. I'm going to say that that's D. It was D. Okay. Ooh, I want to say high E, so I'm going to say high E. That's correct. Okay. A? Correct. Ooh, now is that B or G? I'm going to guess B. Correct. That was B. That one right there sounds like low E. Yes, correct. That's G. Correct. Ooh. We've already failed because we didn't get it like that, but... Ooh, okay, let me see. Okay, we are going to go with D. Correct, that was D. I mean, I'm gonna go with B. B. Correct. Okay, that was B. That's my high E. Okay. Definitely my high E. I'm going to say, ooh, A? Correct, that was A. That's definitely low E. Okay. Let's go with G. Oh, that was wrong. That was G. That was a G. Okay, this is a G. Ooh, okay. Okay, so that one's a D, isn't it? No, that was an A. Oh my gosh, what happened? I think that's a G. Okay, that is a G. Is that an A? That was an A. Is that a G? Are they just testing me back and forth? That's a G. It's an A. That's an A. Ah, there we go. I want to say that's a B. That is a B. So I got 16 out of 18 again. I messed up on those two. But once again, you know, you got minus a few because I didn't get them like right like that. Ooh, okay. Let's go again. And this time I'm going to keep track of the ones that we get wrong to see, you know, what we need to work on. Okay, let's start it over. I click refresh. I turn down the max fret to 0. A? No, it was a D. It was a D. So we already got not off on a good start. Let's see. So this is a D right here, specifically D3. Okay. So that's an A. That's an A. D? No, that one was a G. That's a G. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be keeping track of what I got wrong. I forgot. Okay, we're gonna do it next round. That's a B. That is a B. Low E. Yep. A? No, that's a D. High E. D? No, that's a G. Wow. So that's a D. That's a D right there. Okay. And then that one must be a G. Yep, that's a G. That's an A. Yep. Low E. Is that a high E? No, it was a B. Is that a G? That is a G. It must be a B. Yes. D. That is a D. That's my high E. Ooh, B. Yep. Okay, so that one time only 13 out of 18 correct. Not good enough, not good enough. Okay. Let's do this again. Set the max fret to 0. All right, here we go. That's a low E. Starting off with an easy one. That's good. Always good. High E. Okay. I'm for it. So that's a B. That was a B. G. That is a G. It's a D. Okay, that is a D. Is that low enough? We're going to say it's a A. It is an A. Okay. There we go. More like a chocolate sound. Yep. Yeah, that right there is my low E. So that's an A. Ooh, is it a high E or a B? I'm going to switch it out the last minute to B. It was a B. Okay. G. That was a G. High E. That's my high E. A. Wait. A. No, that was a D. Oh, I said I'm going to keep track. Okay, that's the first one I got wrong. So let me write that down. D. Okay. That's a low E. That one's a D. Yep. High E. Yep. That's another D. Yep. Ooh, is that a B or a G? I think that might be a G. It was a G. Okay. Now that's my D. No. Oh, I said D and I clicked the wrong one. That's so funny because I said D, but I think I meant G and the correct answer was D. So that's weird. But I clicked the wrong one anyways. It was like a whole thing. So, that's another D. Okay. Okay. That's A. Oh, we've gone past. Okay, so we got 17 out of 19, so we can surmise that we would have gotten 16 out of 18. And the two that we missed are both D's. So, okay, let's do it again. We're going to use like 3 as like my benchmark number here. You know, like 3 times 6, 18. Now just 3 times in general to see which ones we're really struggling with. So we're going to reset it again. Put it down to 0. And there we go. B. Correct. Ooh. Is that a D? It is a D. Oh, I'm not hearing anything this time. There we go. That's got to be a low E. Correct. That's an A. Ooh. Is that a G? It was a G. Okay. High E. That's my high E. Okay. Ooh. B? Oh, it was a G. It was a G. Okay. Not surprisingly, the same trend. The ones that had problems singing are the same ones I keep getting wrong. Okay, so that right there is a G. That's an A. That's a G. Correct, that's a G. High E. Low E. So A. No, that one was a D. Ooh, got another D wrong. That's a D. So that's got to be a G. That is a G. That's a D. That is a D. That's a B. Ooh. D. That is a D. Okay. That's a low E, ain't it? Yes, it's a low E. D. Yes, that's a D. So 16 out of 18 correct. All right. One more go to C, but on that time we got G and D wrong. So we keep getting a lot of D's wrong. Okay, it's taking a second to load here. There we go. Come on. Okay, hold on. Let me try going on to a different Wi-Fi. There we go. Okay. Max fret down to 0. That's my high E, isn't it? Yes, high E. D. That is a D. That's an A. I'm going to say that's a G. Correct. That's a B. Correct. That's a low E. Oops. I accidentally exit out of it. Oh no, I was on a roll. Okay, it's okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. So we're gonna have to restart that one. I was getting all of them right, but it's okay. I should be able to replicate it. All right, let's go. High E. Oh, it even started me off with the same one. That's my D, right? No, that's a G. See, I'm already doing worse. I was like, are they doing the same pattern? I psyched myself out. Okay, but we did get G wrong. Is that a low E? Correct. And that's an A. That's a... Ooh. That's a B. That is a B. Is that a D? Yeah, that's a D. A? No, that's actually a G. Ooh. Hmm. You know what? I need to restart this because not only do I need to practice the one that I got wrong, I need to practice the one that I thought it was too. So we're going to actually restart this. So yeah, you know, like if I thought that a D was an A, I need to practice both the D and the A because obviously there's a disconnect there. You know, so okay, so that's my new thing. Okay, so let's start this over. And put the max fret down to 0 to get close to open strings. All right, let's do it. And then starting around with high E this time. B. B, that's correct. A. That's an A. That's my high E. That's a G. It is a G. That's a D. Yep. Ooh. I think that's a low E. That is a low E. Ooh. That a G? It is a G. Okay, yep. That right there, that's my B. That's my high E. That's a low E right there. That's a D. That is a D. That's an A. That's a D. It is a D. That's a low E. That's a B. Yep, that's a B. That's an A. Yes. G. That is a G. That's a high E. And with that, I've answered 18 out of 18 correct for the first time. Okay. But, so we got 18 that time. Okay. So, now let's use one of the methods that we learned in Peak. So I didn't get anything wrong that time, though. I know that D, G, I have kind of an issue with those, but let's continue. Now let's see if I can get 19 out of 19 correct, and we'll go up from there. Even though we should go up a whole nother 6, so 18 plus 6, so 24. Yeah, 24 to be a full. If it cycles through 6 each, time, then. All right, so let's try that. Our next goal is 24 after 24. Yeah, like I said, the real test is going to be Justin playing those on the guitar, which might happen off camera, but hopefully it happens on camera. Okay. Oh, okay. I almost forgot to set the max frets to 0. Okay. Let's do this. That is a low E. Correct. That's a high E. Correct. That's a G. Correct. So that's a D. No, that was an A, specifically A2. Okay, so that was an A, but I thought it was a D. Okay. So that's an A right there. That's a B. That's an A. That is an A. So that's a D. And that's a B. Correct. That's a high E. It's a low E. That's a D. No, it's a G. Oh no. But I thought it was a D. Okay, well, that one's a D. Mm-hmm. Not the same one again? I'm going to choose A. No, it's a G. It's a G. Once again, I thought that it was... Okay, we're going to put G, but I thought I chose A, but I thought it could be D as well. Okay. Well, I guess first I should go for 18 3 times in a row, right? Before I go to 24. I guess this has the same effect. Okay, so that's a G sound. Okay, next. So that's an A. Okay, it is an A. That's G, isn't it? Yes, that's a G. That's a B. Mm-hmm. That's a G then. That is a G. That's an A. Yes. Oh, okay, so that was 15 out of 18. Of course, that's a high E, so that would be, 16 out of 19. But it's 15 out of 18 were correct. But once again, we're going to push ourselves, I guess, to go for 24. I'm still not sure which method I want to use, but right now we're going to truck along and go for 24. Oh, but I just got one wrong, didn't I? No, I didn't. Okay, so that's a high E. Let's continue. That's a G. Mm-hmm. A. No, that's an E. That's a low E. I should be more specific. A. Low E. Okay. That's a low E right there. I mean, D. That is a D. Low E. That is a low E. That's a B. Mm-hmm. So that's 20 out of 24 correct. Okay. Next, once again, we're going for 24 out of 24, and I'm just writing down the ones that I got wrong. Out of 24. Okay, so I'm going to reset it. Turn the max fret down to 0. And let's go. That's an A. That is an A. That's a D. Mm-hmm. That's a high E. That's a G. Yes. Whew. Low E. That is a low E. That's a B, right? Yes, it's a B. And that's a G. Yep. That's a B. Yes. That's a D. Mm-hmm. Low E. That is a low E. That's a high E. That's an A. Yes, correct. That's a B. That is a B. That's a G. That's a D. Yep. That's a high E. Okay, that's a low E. That's an A. Okay, so far I've gotten 18 out of 18 correct. But once again, we're going for 24 now. That's a high E. That's a low E. Yep. That's an A. That's a G. Yep. That's a B. Oh, I'm going to say D. That is a D. I got 24 out of 24. Woo. Okay. It's not good enough, though. You need to go 24 out of, what's 30? Yeah, 30. What? How high are we going to go up? If it's all by 6. What's the highest number before 100? 6 can fit into 10 one time. That's 4, right? Yeah. Well, 4 is left over. And then 40, and then... Ooh. Okay. I'm going to cheat. 100 divided by 6. Justin Bot just said, yes, sir. Okay. So, 100 divided by 6. 100 divided by 6. Okay, it's 16. 16. Oh, yeah, so 16 times 6 now. 16 times 6. 96. Okay. All right, let's do this. Okay, but we're not going to 96 next time. Now we're going to 30. Oh, it's not starting off so good. I think that's a D. That is a D. That's a low E. Correct. That's an A. That's a high E. If it doesn't make me feel that spark thing, then I know that it isn't a high E. G. Ooh, I feel like I'm going to be wrong. No, I'm right. That is a G. Okay. That's a B. Yep, that is a B. That's an A. That's my high E. That's my low E. That's my G. It is a G. That's a D then. That's a D. That's a B. Okay, that is a B. That's a G. No, it's a D. Oh. D, but I thought it was a G. That is the sound of a D right there, specifically D3. I'm still going to keep trucking along to 30 to get it right. That one's a D, isn't it? I'm kind of like looking and cheating. No, that's an A, right? Oh, that's only because I looked. I psyched myself out. It is an A, but I don't feel good about guessing that A. That's a G. No, that's a D. Oh, gosh. I'm just making everything G right now. Or I'm just messing those two up. So G, D. Okay. I said G. It was actually a D. That's the sound of a D. Wait, I did that wrong. Hopefully I didn't do it wrong last time, too. The answer is D, but I thought it was a G. Okay. That's a B. Yep. A D. It is a D. That's a low E. Mm-hmm. Is that a D? That is a D. That's my high E. Is that a D again? That is a D. That's a G. Mm-hmm. That's a high E. G? That is a G. I'm going to go low E. Correct. That's an A. That's a B. Correct. So that's a G? No, that's a D. Woo. Okay. Oh. Hold on. Okay, the answer is D, specifically D3, and I thought it was a G, which is really the same thing for all of them this time. I keep getting those two confused. So that's a D right there. Okay. That right there is a B. That's a D. That is a D. That's an A. Yep. Oh, that's 28 out of 31. So I got 27 out of 30. Yeah. Okay. So let's reset her. Okay. What is that? Ooh, G? That's a D. Okay. The answer is D. And I thought it was a G. Continuing with the same pattern. And right on the first one, too. It's like then you just know that you're not going to reach your goal. That's a D. Okay. That's an A. G. That is a G. That's a low E. That's a B. That is a B. D. That is a D. Oh, that's a high E for sure. Whew. Is that a B? No, that's a G. Okay. So it's a G, and I thought B. Okay. That's a G. Well, I only know that one's a D because I just heard G a bunch of times. But it is a G. Or, I think I said that wrong. That previous one was a D. I think this one is a G. It is a G. Okay. That's a low E. Mm-hmm. That's a B. That's a G. Yep. That's an A. Mm-hmm. That's a high E. That's a B. Is that a D? That's a D. Then dog. No, it's an A. Ooh. Okay. That's an A. B. No, that was a G. So the answer is G. And I guessed B. That's the sound of a G. That's an A. Yep. Ooh. Is that a D? No, that's a G. I mean, the answer is a D. I thought it was a D. The answer is G, and I thought it was a D. Okay. That's the sound of G, specifically G3. That's an A. That's a G. That's a G. That's an A. G. B. No, that was a D. Oh my gosh. Answer is D. I thought it was a B. Whew. That's a low E. Correct. That's a D. Yep. G. D. That's a high E. And with that, I've gotten 24 out of 30 correct, so I missed 6. All right, let's go back to the drawing board. I think we have an accurate depiction of the ones that are messing us up. So, A, G, G, A. Okay, let's see which ones. Okay, so we're going to do a little tally. Low E, A, D, G, B, high E. Okay, let's see. A's got one. And then D's got one. G, D, G, A, and D, A, low E, D, 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 G, 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 D, G, G, B, D, A, G, B, G, D, D, and B. Okay, so my problem children are A, D, and G. And D coming out, of course, the worst. So we're going to practice D, G, and B. I mean, A, D, and G. All right, here's my guitar. Here's my pick. And here's the tuner. When this lights up green, that means the note is tuned. I think you guys can see it. Okay, yeah, you guys can see it. Okay, low E is just a little bit off. Okay, there we go. E is good. A is a little bit off. There we go. D is good. G. That's there you go. B is good. And last but not least, high E needs to be tightened a bit. Okay. And once like I said, those aren't exactly all the open notes. But they're really close to it. And they kind of do have similar sounds. So the ones I mess up on are A, D, and G. The middle ones. Or some of the middle ones anyway. So A. I think specifically they're using like A2. And that just means that I'm right here on the board. And so maybe I need to find out specifically what they're using, but pretty much sounds, kind of similar. But okay, that is A, D. So next go around, I'm actually going to write what frets and stuff they are. Because it's only using about the first 3 frets, at least according to it. So. Yeah. think it's usually D3. Okay. So I'm gonna do, what is this one? D. I'm gonna change it to Mary for D. Well, this is actually G, right? Yeah. G. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the G note after every two of a different string. a couple other frets as well. So let's continue on. I'm going to erase all of this because I don't feel like starting a new page. What? Well, I gotta test myself and see if I do any better. Okay. Well, the hour's up, but I gotta test myself and see if I do any better. Alright, so just one test though. Tomorrow's Monday, so it's work. And once again, if you haven't seen Karaoke Live, like, go watch it. It was really good. Okay. Okay. Let's do it. Let's see if that helped at all, if my technique worked or not. I'm going to reset it. Again, our goal is now 30. A B. It is a B. Is that a D? The correct answer was a G. I guess I haven't learned anything. So the correct answer is a G, but I thought it was a D. That's the sound of a G right there, specifically G3. A. No, that's a D. Specifically D3. Okay. That's a high E. That's a D. That is a D. That's an A. That's a G. Yep. That's a low E. That's a B. That's a low E. High E. Ooh, is that a G? No, that was actually a D. Specifically, that was a D3, and I thought it was a G. So, yeah, I'm still not getting those 3 notes right. The 3 notes that I tried to practice. I guess I'll have to go back to, like, actually singing them. I guess that was an effective form of practice, because it got me this far. That's a D, specifically D3. Well, I know that's an A. That's a D. That's a G. Yep. That's a D. Yes. That's an A. D. Yep. G. No, that was a B. Oh, no. Specifically, oh, that was a B. Specifically, a B3. And I thought it was a G. Terrible. That's the sound of a B right there. That's a D. No, that was a G. Specifically, that was a G3, and I thought it was a D. That's the sound of a B right there. That's a D. No, that was a G. Specifically, that was a G3, and I thought it was a G. Specifically, that was a G3, and I thought it was a D. That's a sound of a B right there. That's a D. No, that was a G. Specifically, that was a G3, and I thought it was a D. G? No, that was a B. D. No, that was a G. Oops. G. That's a G3 to be exact. C, that was a B. That's a G. Yep. That's a B. Ooh. That's not a G, is it? I think that's a D. That is actually, it's a G3 and I thought it was a D. Ooh. That's a B. That's a G. Yep. That's a low E. That's a B. No, that was a G. That was a G3. That's a high E for sure. Oh, so we're at 22 out of 31, correct? So yeah, that means we're really at 21 of 30. So that's a whole 9 wrong. All right, I said we were just going to do it once, but I just want to do it one more time. You know, like I said, I'm using 3, so why don't we just do it 3 last time to round it off? Maybe that was some kind of false start. Oops, I need to bring down the max fret to 0, even though that apparently really means 3. That's a B. No, it's already all screwed up. That's a G, specifically G3. And I thought it was a B. Oof. That's a low E? No, that was an A. Specifically an A2. But I thought low E. Okay. That's a high E. That's a B. D. That is a D. That's an A. That's a G. Correct. That's a low E. That's a G. That's a high E. That's a low E. That's a D. Yes. That's a B. Yes, yes. That's an A. That's a D. That's an A. That's a high E. That's a G. Yes, it is. That's a low E. That's a B. That's a high E. That's a B. Yes. That's a G. No, it was a D. Oh. Okay, it's a D3. I thought it was a G. Okay. That one's a low E. Yep. That's a D. That's a G. That's a D. That is a D. Ooh. Is that an A? It is an A. Is that a D? That is a D. A G. Yes. Okay, so that one time 27 out of 30 correct. Okay. Continuing on. Last round for tonight. Oh, wait, let's reset it. It's okay, because I might have gotten that one wrong anyways. All right. Oops. Accidentally reset it twice. Let me do it. 0. A D as in dog. Correct. B. G. Yes. That's a high E. That's a low E. That's an A then. Yep. That's a low E. That is a B. I mean, not a B, I'm sorry. A D. That's a D as in dog. Yes, that's a D. That is a G. No! Wrong. It's actually a B3, to be specific. I thought it was a G. I don't know why I keep clicking it over and over again. That's a B. No, that's actually an E. I can't believe I got it wrong. E4 to be exact. And I thought it was a B. Shame on me. That one's a B. It's softer. Yep. That's a high E. That's a low E. No, that was an A. See? A2 to be exact. Okay. That one's a high E. That one's an A. Yes, correct. That's a G. Yes. That one's a D as in dog. No, it's an A. Oh no. Okay. That's a B. Yep. That's an A. Yes. That is a D as in dog. Yep. That's an A. That's a B. That's a G. That one is a D as in dog. No, that's an A. Oh my gosh. That's a high E. Ooh. A? Correct. Oh, there it is. Yes, that's my low E. That's an A then? It is an A. That's a B. Yep. A. Yep. D as in dog. Yep. Oh, by the way, that's a high E. But it's also we got 26 out of 31, which means we would have gotten 25 out of 30. So 5 wrong that time. All right. I see the ones that we need to focus on starting at the beginning tomorrow. I'll tally them up. But for now, thank you all for joining me. Have a great night. Don't forget to watch Karaoke Live. Don't forget to vote, register to vote. And yeah. Thanks. Have a good night.